Welcome to another episode of The Scoop, where today we will be discussing the top games that went on in week three of the NFL season. I will be your host once again, Bryan Greer. As you know, Dominique is a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I believe he was at the game on Sunday between the Eagles and Redskins and got in the middle of the brawl on the sideline and wanted a piece of Deshaun Jackson. Unfortunately, security did have to haul him away to the jail cell under Lincoln Financial Field, and I believe he is still there. So, Dominique, if you can see this, I suggest you call Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer, to help you out with all your problems. With that being said, let's get into some games. First game I'm going to talk about today is the Ravens defeating the Browns 23-21. This game was pretty much a back and forth battle between Brian Hoyer and Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was 19 of 31 for 217 yards, a touchdown pass. He was very steady, very calm, getting the ball to Steve Smith, which most people didn't expect him out of the year he's having so far. He had 5 receptions for 101 yards, had a big play to get them down there at the very end of the game to win it with the field goal from Tucker. Also, in this game, they did have Bernard Pierce out. They were starting running back. And a little-known running back, Talia Farrow, had 18 rushes for 91 yards and a touchdown. He was all over the field just making a lot of great runs, just keeping a very steady balance for the Ravens. And also for the Browns, Brian Hoyer had another really good game, and he was 27 for 41 for 325 yards and 3 touchdown passes. He actually had 1 touchdown pass and was 290 yards. Excuse me on that. He was very good, very steady. No reason to put Johnny football in the game. This game right here, he did have one play where a very genius play where he was out a wide receiver and they did get it to him and did look good. Maybe he can transition to a wide receiver, which I think he would actually be better at than a quarterback, but that's just me. Also, I do want to give some props to Isaiah Crowell, the running back for the Browns. I thought they actually should have got him the ball more. He had 11 rushes for 55 yards and a touchdown pass. I don't understand why the Browns did not try to run the ball more, because he was getting 5.5 yards per rush against the Ravens, who this year have not been very good against the run. So with all of that Ravens have been going through, I do want to give props to John Harbaugh. That's with all the Ray Rice controversy and everything that's going on, to keep this team together and win a game on the road, because the Browns, as we've seen so far, are not your old Browns. They are coming to win, and you have to beat them in order to win against them. So props to the Ravens, because I don't think many people had them with everything that's going on in the organization being 2-1 after week 3. All right. Next game we're going to talk about is the Philadelphia Eagles defeating the Redskins 37-34, which I believe is one of the games of the week. Nick Foles and Kirk Cousins combined for over 700 yards passing. This game was incredible. Just a offensive show, back and forth the whole game. Nick Foles took a beating in this game, but he just kept getting up and just making play after play. You had Jeremy Maclin with 8 receptions for 154 yards and a touchdown pass. He was incredible. LaShawn McCoy was out for this game, so Nick Foles did show what he is and what he's made of, because everybody knows that LaShawn McCoy is the best player on the Eagles. But at the end of the game, he made the plays once again to win in that fourth quarter. It was a brawl in this game, as I mentioned earlier. A cheap shot from one of the defensive linemen for the Redskins, and a melee ensued, and it was just very crazy, and a couple players for each team were ejected. Just was all over the place. Now, also for the Redskins, I want to give props to Kirk Cousins. He did once again show how good he is, and he can really handle offense. Had over 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Now, he did have one crucial interception at the end of the game that did allow the Eagles to win and to get the final drive. But overall, you cannot be disappointed in Kirk Cousins coming in for RG3, who is injured right now, looking very good. Now, Deshaun Jackson did come back to Philadelphia and account for himself very well. Had 5 receptions for 117 yards and a touchdown pass. Also, Pierre Garcon, 11 receptions for 130 yards and a touchdown pass. As you can see, this game had very little defense in it. I do not understand what kind of defensive scheme either these teams are running because there was absolutely none. And right now, the Eagles are looking to be the strong front runner in the NFC East because they seem to know how to win games at the end. Chip Kelly has an offense really rolling. Remember, he is just barely into his second season as a coach, so the Eagles are really figuring it out and seem to have an identity on offense. And you can no longer say Nick Foles does not belong to be the starting quarterback of the Eagles because he has been fantastic ever since taking over from Mike Vick last year. All right, the next game we're going to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys beating the Rams 34-31. As you all know, me being a Dallas Cowboys fan, I am still stunned by this win because they were down 21-0 in the first half, and this was the biggest comeback in Cowboys franchise history in the regular season, being down 21 and winning. I cannot believe that the Cowboys did run the ball while still down by 21 and kept running the ball. You had Romo only having 23 passes again this week, which is excellent. 2 touchdowns, an interception, but DeMarco Murray for the third straight week ran the ball 24 times, 100 yards, and a touchdown pass. They are committed to the run. They continue to stick to the plan at hand. I love what Scott Linehan is doing, the new offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Also, Romo looked very good this week. He seems to be getting healthier. Great touchdown pass to Bryan, who's an absolute monster on a blown coverage with Janoris Jenkins, able to get down there and was wide open for the touchdown pass. He, once again, had a great game, 6 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown pass. And I also want to give props to the Rams because in the first quarter, it looked like this was going to be one of the embarrassing losses for the Cowboys because Austin Davis was very good in this game. He was 30 for 42 for 327 yards, 3 touchdown passes, but did have 2 interceptions. One was a pick 6 to Bruce Carter, which turned the game around and gave the momentum all to the Cowboys. Now, Romo also did have a pick 6 in the first quarter, which was horrible, on an out route to Dez Bryant that Janoris Jenkins took back for a touchdown. And overall, this game was very much a offensive, just show. And whoever made a mistake last, DeMarco Murray also had another fumble for the third straight week, and he right now has to get that under control in order to still be the starting running back because you cannot be fumbling the ball every week if you want to be a top-notch running back in the NFL. And I do want to give props again to Austin Davis, who a lot of people don't know about, but he did break most of Brett Favre's records in college at Southern Miss University, and he looked very good. And I think that he'll be the starting the starting quarterback for the rest of the year and will compete next year for the starting job because right now he's looked good since taking over for Sean Hill and also with Sam Bradford being out for the year. So this is a really good win for the Cowboys, a character win. They normally just fall down flat when they get down big, and for them to come back and win against a team they should have beaten, huge win for them because in the first quarter, I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be a complete blowout, and the Cowboys were not going to be in this game at all. So we'll see next week with the Cowboys as they play the Saints if this is going to propel them in the NFC East and make them a contender or not. All right, next game we're going to talk about is the Arizona Cardinals beating the 49ers 23-14. I think this win right here for the Cardinals shows that they are the real deal. Drew Stanton once again filling in for Palmer. He was exceptional. 18 for 33 for 244 yards and 2 touchdown passes. The most important thing is he did not throw an interception in this game. He was getting it to all his receivers. You had the rookie wide receiver John Brown with 4 receptions for 52 yards and 2 touchdown passes. In the second half, he took over because they were down 14-6 in the first half, but in the second half, he really just put the team on his back and really got it to him. You had Michael Floyd with 5 receptions for 114 yards, and Drew Stanton is just looking very good. You know how the Cardinals defense is going to come to play with Patrick Peterson, and they still don't even have Honey Badger, and Darnell Dockett is out for the year. So they were very good on defense, and even though Colin Kaepernick was 29 for 37 for 245 yards and a touchdown pass, he was not able to really just be very effective in this game. And I don't know why the 49ers have just abandoned the run. They did not get the ball to Frank Gore enough or Carlos Hyde, in my opinion. They need to really look at their scheme, because I think they're giving Colin Kaepernick way too many throwing plays and not using his ability to, spread out and run the ball and be more of a pass option type of team, because they are not running the ball at all. Now, Michael Crabtree did have a good game with 10 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown pass, but they're just not hitting on all cylinders. I don't know what's going on. Now, there's rumors that, Jim Harbaugh is losing the team. I don't know if that's to be true, or if that's the case, but it seems that the 49ers really need to get it together, because right now they just seem to be in disarray with all of the suspensions. And also, something that needs to be brought up more is these penalties that the 49ers are having. Jim Harbaugh doesn't seem to be trying to correct them at all. They just seem to aim for the head and just take senseless penalties every week that cost them to lose games. So if they don't correct these penalties, they're going to continue to lose games, because they're in the toughest division, in my opinion, the NFC West, which if you get far back in that division, you're not making the playoffs, period. So, like I said, Bruce Arians really has that team in Arizona playing well, and I think that they should stick with Drew Stanton, because he has really got that offense humming, and if they could ever get Andre Ellington all the way healthy, now I know he played this game, but he didn't have a huge impact. If they get him going, you get the running game going, they're going to be a force to reckon with, because last year they did win 10 games and did not make the playoffs. So this team is really one to watch out for, I believe, for the rest of the year. All right, the next game that I'm going to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks beating the Broncos in a rematch of last year's Super Bowl, 26-20. Wow, what can you say about this game? It went in overtime also for a win for the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, I think, proved in this game with the winning drive in overtime that you can no longer deny that he is arguably a top 5 quarterback, in my opinion. He was 24 for 34 for 258 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He did have an interception that did lead to a Broncos drive to win the game, but in overtime, he just was making play after play on third down, running the ball, getting it to Baldwin or Lynch or Harvin. He just knows how to just win games. He always seems to make the right play. I was very impressed with him keeping his composure after Peyton Manning had one of the best drives I've seen in a long time to tie the game. Just brilliant after they got an interception, the Broncos defense. Now, Manning was 31 for 49 for 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Now, the thing about Manning is that I believe that he is throwing way too many passes. They do not get it to Monty Ball enough, who I think is a top-level running back. They only gave it to him 13 times this game. You've got to have a balanced offense. They seem to not learn from last year. You had Cam Chancellor with a pick on Manning that was very big in this game. If you give Manning way too many passing plays against an elite defense like the Seattle Seahawks, he's going to make the big mistake as far as the interception, and that was the case. And once again, kudos to the Seahawks for winning the game. That a lot of people probably saw Manning coming out and having a really big game, but they kept him under control. And also, once again, Marshawn Lynch with another great game of 26 carries, 88 yards, a touchdown. They continue to keep a balanced offense and give him the ball. He breaks teams' wheels. You can't just look at the yardage. You have to look at how many times he's getting the ball, because he's going to make a defense break, and he did that in overtime, where it just like the linebackers wanted no more Marshawn Lynch on the game-winning touchdown. And the Seahawks, they just know against teams like the Broncos how to win. They keep their composure. Pete Carroll has that team on hitting on all cylinders. This was the game of the week, in my opinion. It was a rematch of the Super Bowl, back and forth, win the overtime. What more can you ask for? So kudos to the Seahawks for winning another game, and for Russell Wilson once again pulling out another just incredible drive to win. So with that, the last game that we're going to talk about today is the Chicago Bears beating the New York Jets 27-19. This game right here, in my opinion, came down to Geno Smith and, again, throwing crucial interceptions. First drive of the game, another pick six where I don't know where he was trying to get the ball to, and it just started off another just downfall. He needs to understand how to read the defense better, because it seems that he just is very inconsistent, has a strong arm and everything, but needs to get a lot better at reading the defenses. Now, he was, 26 for 43 for 100 for 26 for 43 for a TD and 2 interceptions, but he has to learn how to manage a game. I know he's only in his second year. Now, he did have a good game from Jeremy Curley, the rookie wide receiver, 7 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown pass, but Eric Decker has to come through more. He was not really a big factor in this game. Geno Smith did have another chance to tie this game at the end, but, couldn't get it done. Just couldn't get it done. Got a pass down, I think it was, to Jeremy Curley, but it was out of bounds at the end of the game on 4th down. I do want to give props to the Chicago Bears offense. Jay Cutler once again looked very good this week. He was throwing for 225 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Now, I would like them to get it to Matt Forte more, because he only ran the ball 13 times for 33 yards, and also be more balanced. But what can you say when you have Martellus Bennett getting 2 touchdown passes, 59 yards, and he was excellent. And they just, with Brandon Marshall out, they didn't lose it because he did go down with a foot injury. I believe in the second quarter, Alshon Jeffrey picked up the slack. He did have 8 receptions for 105 yards. They're just a monster on offense. You have to really, get pressure on Cutler, or they're going to really, cheat you up down the field. Because as we know, if Cutler can, set his feet and stay away from the big mistake, which he did in this game, they're going to score a lot of points. And they did it once again with the Jets, who we know are very good on the defensive line. So kudos for the Bears once again going on the road after last week, coming back to beat the 49ers, doing it against the Jets. So right now, I think the Bears are the team to look at winning the NFC Central, because they're very well balanced on offense and seem to have a lot going on their defensive line with Jared Allen, and also with I know they lost Peanut Tillman, but they seem to have a rookie in Fuller who's very good. So they really seem to be peaking, and they're going to keep it up for the rest of the year as long as they can keep Jeffrey and Marshall, their wide receivers, healthy, I believe. So really good weekend, I believe, in the NFL. Had a lot of competitive games, and really looking forward to seeing what happens for the rest of the year going forward. So with that being said, I would like to thank y'all for watching today. We will be back next week with our Week 4 NFL recap. This will be up on Google+. Check out our Google Plus page at The Scoop. Also, this will be up on our YouTube page at The Scoop. And also check out thescoopzone.com. Take it easy.